This Scottish Premiership clash sees Hearts in 10th place with 16 points and Hibs in 8th with 18 points after 18 games. The Edinburgh Derby is one of Scotland's oldest football rivalries, with over 300 encounters since the late 19th century. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to review Hearts vs Hibernian in the Scottish Premiership, the half-12 kickoff on your Boxing Day festive calendar. Now, before we get started, I need you all to do one thing for me. Make sure you like the video if you've loved it, comment down below your thoughts and opinions, subscribe if you're new around here, and click the notification bell so you never miss another video. And for now, ladies and gentlemen, let's get straight into this game by previewing before kickoff what this game means, what's set to entail, and also who to look out for in this particular match. In the last 15 meetings, Hibernian secured only one victory against Hearts, highlighting the Hearts' dominance in recent years. There's been some pretty memorable games between the two teams, including a triumphant 2-1 win for Hearts, with Wayne Foster scoring a memorable late winner in the semi-finals of the 1994 Scottish Cup. One of the most one-sided matches was Hearts' 5-1 win over Hibs, marking one of the most significant results in the derby's history. And did you know 2019 was Hibernian's last win at Tynecastle? But what day was it? It was right here on Boxing Day. Hibs secured a 2-0 win at Tynecastle that day, which was their last victory at Hearts' home ground, with Martin Boyle scoring both goals. Both teams are eager to improve their standings, with Hibs aiming to break a 5-year winless streak at Tynecastle, and manager David Gray emphasises the importance of composure and confidence following recent victories. Hibernian can still push to finish further up the table by the end of this season, and victory against Hearts could give them another great result towards the business end of the campaign later on. Hearts under head coach Neil Critchley will look to leverage home advantage and recent positive performances, including contributions from young talented players like James Wilson, who's already made several appearances in the Premiership this season and could be one of the bright sparks for the future of the club. So let's start with the Hearts lineup. Craig Gordon in goal, a backline of Daniel Ogioke, Craig Halkett, Kai Rolls and James Pernice. Midfielders, we've got Cameron Devlin and Benning Benigme as the main midfielders, with Lawrence Shankland as the attacking midfielder, Moussa Dramé and Blair Spital either side. And up front on his own is the youngster, James Wilson. For Hibernian, they've stuck with their three at the back formation, with Jordan Smith leading as goalkeeper, a back three left to right of Jack Iredale, Rocky Bashiri and former MK Dons defender Warren O'Hara. In the wing-back roles, it's the Caddens, Chris and Nicky either side. In midfield, you've got Nectarius Theantis and Joe Newell either side of attacking midfielder Josh Campbell. And up front together, Ellie Ewan and Martin Boyle. A very lively first half between Hearts and Hibernian. I mean, action galore. I mean, it started off in the very early stages. Dramé putting the header wide, and, you know, Hearts in the first few minutes really showed their dominance of the game, grabbing the channels, grabbing the play, very enforcing. Hibernian on the back foot slightly more in the first few minutes. But then you got the first Hibernian goal, and again, it was a great header from Josh Campbell. There was big debates over, was there enough, from Rocky Bashiri on keeper Craig Gordon, who, by the way, is playing in who played in the first, his first Edinburgh derby was 21 years ago, which is an interesting fact. Very experienced goalkeeper. There was the debate of, was there enough, you know, on Bashiri blocking Gordon in the way, almost. There was the whole debate of, was he impeding him with enough contact to call it an impediment of the goalkeeper. It was a brilliant cross, by the way. Great header from Campbell, who's been threatening for at least the second half of the first half. Josh Campbell, for me, has been one of the more threatening players for Hibernian. Like I said, Craig Gordon, very experienced goalkeeper. Bashiri, the extra man behind the goal. Could have been 50-50, that decision. I think overall, it was probably the right decision to give the goal. I don't think it was enough. And to be fair, it kind of last came off Rolls, the defender for Hearts. So technically it was an own goal. So to be fair, when Gordon kind of got Bashiri out of the way, the actual header itself, that deflected off of Rolls, the contact from the header wasn't initially made until Gordon had finished pushing Bashiri out of the way, so he could have had enough time to react to it. So I wouldn't have called that an impediment. I think that was probably the right decision in the end. And they did celebrate twice for Hibernian's sake. Hibernian grabbed the game back. The channels were exploited quite well from Hibernian. Some wonderful crosses being brought in from all different long ranges. I mean, that cross in 21st minute from Nicky Cadden to back post, bending across the pitch. Absolutely brilliant cross. And it looked like Hibernian was starting to grab it back, and then Hearts started to grab things back. And then towards the end of the half, you got the equaliser, cross into back post, Shanklin heads it in, and Rocky Bashiri, involved in the first goal, involved in the equaliser, a slice of the feet, back of the net, and an equaliser. And Bashiri's unfortunately at fault for that one, even though it's an unlucky slice of the ball. So overall, for me, I think that Hibernian and Hearts have had a very entertaining affair at times. I think it's been an entertaining game so far. I think both teams have done enough to warrant an equaliser for each end. I think that both have got some really good players in their wings. I want to mention Penrice, left back for Hearts. What a performance he's had so far in this first half. I mean, he's been completely dominant on that left-hand side. There's been moments where he's kind of backtracked a bit, but especially early on, I think that Penrice is putting some wonderful balls in. He's always looked lively, he's always looked energetic, always looked on the front foot. And for me, Penrice has done decent so far. If I were to pick a player of the game, I'm not too sure yet. I think it's far too early to tell for me because I think there's a few performers that could grab it. But overall, for me, I think both Hearts and Hibernian definitely have deserved a goal. And we go into the second half. So we'll see what the second half brings. But at the minute, it is Hearts 1, Hibernian 1. Well then, what a second half that was. Hibernian get the win, their first win at Tynecastle in 5 years. Wow, what a second half. I mean, the substitutions paid off perfectly for Hibernian. They did brilliant. Now, it's worth mentioning in the first 10-15 minutes that Hearts dominated possession of the ball. They dominated the game in terms of off the front foot, but they didn't have a clear purpose up front. And that was the main thing that lacked with Hearts in the second half overall for me. I think that Hearts lacked up front in terms of their attacking prowess, and they lacked this kind of purpose at the end of their possession. They had a lot of possession in the first 10-15 minutes of the second half, but they didn't have a lot of purpose with that possession. In the corner of my eye, I'm just seeing this player celebrating with the green centre on Rocky Bashiri. But yeah, obviously going into the second half, first thing we have to say is a fan was ejected because it was discovered that after the VAR check was given for the first goal in the first half of Hibernian, there was some disgusting racist abuse towards the Hibernian substitutes, and a fan was ejected out of the stadium around the half-time period. The message is still the same, no room for racism, and it's disgusting that it still happens in 2024. And there should be a huge, huge crackdown when that whole situation comes to light and we know every single detail, etc. Hopefully the police do the right thing and it comes to light and we bring, that kind of abuse to justice. But the second half felt alone, like I said, first 10-15 minutes, Hearts dominated. We had a clear-cut purpose up front. Players like Shanklin were getting into threatening areas. Shanklin, commentary said it, I'll say it. Shanklin, for me, he's most threatening in and out of the box, of the 6-yard box. He is a very threatening player on his day. Just couldn't get the opportunity today. I think James Wilson, he's a 17-year-old kid. I'm not going to lay into him too much. I felt at times he was quite isolated, and I didn't think Wilson was involved as much in the second half. For me personally, I think that Wilson is still a kid. He's still going to learn. He's still 17. Bright future ahead of him. Just wasn't his day today. And then Hibernian brought on the subs, and the subs worked a treat. Dwight Gill with the experience he's got. And what a goal, by the way. That second goal, that winning goal from Hibernian in the second half. Brilliant goal. Beautiful ball in from Nicky Cadden. Again, another brilliant cross. And Dwight Gill does this little half volley, almost like this smart piece of technique. And he doesn't really showcase it as being a full volley. It's like a sort of little dink volley. Wouldn't like a dink, but like a little half volley almost. Beautiful technique from the experienced Dwight Gale, and that saw off the game. Hearts barely offered a threat. They tried to push bodies forward, but Hibernian defended everything well. In added time, everything pretty much they defended was treated like celebrating a goal. And then I'm keeping my eye on the screen as well, because I'm looking at how much that means to the Hibernian players, to the manager, to the staff. It means everything, this win in the Edinburgh derby. It means every single thing to Hibernian. And they did a wonderful thing today. They managed the game well, they read the game well, they got their opportunities, and again, Hibernian took it better. Hearts were possession without a purpose, and gradually that possession, as the half went on, just became less and less, and Hearts sort of had less control, and the lack of forward options with a clinical threat made it very, very hard for Hearts to get back in this game by the end of it, and Hibernian fully deserved the win after that second half, definitely. Now then, the conversation of the player of the match. I think it's a fair conversation to have. So for this part of the match reviews, I'm going to sort of take one player from each team and compare their performances and see who I think should be the player of the match overall for out of the whole squads. So for Hibernian, I've gone with Nicky Cadden, putting some beautiful assists, brilliant out on the wing-back role, along with his brother Chris. I think Nicky did better than Chris, but don't tell Chris that. But in all seriousness, I think that Nicky Cadden did very, very well in that game. I think he was probably the better of the two wing-backs for me, just. Very, very good, put some wicked crosses in, and, you know, they were pinpoint, they were very, very accurate. Now, for Hearts, I've gone with their goalkeeper, Craig Gordon, because yes, Hibernian had quite a few chances, but I tell you what, Craig Gordon packed in some brilliant saves. And I know other Hearts fans might choose someone else as their player of the match for them, but for me, I've got to go with the goalkeeper. Experienced, couldn't do too much with the goals. There was the conversation of impeachment from Rocky Bashiri on the first goal. The second goal, I mean, you couldn't not react to that. I mean, Dwight Gale's technique on the goal, on the finish from the crossing from Cadden was beautiful. Very, very smart technique, very experienced, smartly done. And I'm watching it on screen again while you're watching over the top of that, and it's just, what could the keeper do in that situation? It's just, there's nothing much you could really do from there. I mean, fair play to Gordon for the performance that he put in. Overall for me though, the player of the match has to go to Nicky Cadden of Hibernian. Wicked crosser and put some wonderful balls in, including that goal. Goalkeeper couldn't do much about that again. For me, I think with the second goal, I think it was more Oyagoke blocking or trying to block. The defence couldn't keep up with Gale's finish, and Gordon kind of got mesmerised in the midst of it. But I do think Gordon was Hearts' best player today in goal, and Nicky Cadden for me was the player of the match overall. So that is it for this review then from the Scottish Premiership. Hearts 1, Hibernian 2. It's the first Hibs win at Tynecastle in 5 years. Congratulations to Hibernian. Best of endeavours to Hearts for their next game as well. Now then, before we go, I want you all to do one more thing for me. Make sure you do like, comment, subscribe, and click the notification bell so you never miss another YouTube video. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I am the CHALL Tyrrell for now. Mean that badge to you, and that is full time.